We are live. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this live, I really appreciate this. Or you're watching this on the recap. Shout out to you watching on Facebook, on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I don't care. I'm gonna call it what its mama named it. X, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, as well as now on Instagram. I see y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, watching live or on the replay. I appreciate it. It's your boy, Mook, aka Stimulator. Thank you so much for tuning to my platform where I teach about my favorite topics in biochemistry and biology, aka STEM, with a twist in arts, music, as well as pop culture. That's why I love STEAM. And today I'm very excited to welcome a very special guest. He is not new to this. In fact, he is true to the Stimulator space. Welcome, Roy Moy the Third. Hey, Roy.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome. I hope you can hear our theme music.
I was back in. Hey. Scientists, we see you. I saw you comment earlier, and I'm excited that you're here to join us too. And everybody else, welcome in. Yes.
Shout out. Okay, I see May Scientist. Okay. Talk about, hey, Roy. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Roy, thank you for coming back to my channel. Like, you are a constant supporter. We love to have the Grammy-nominated musician, the engineer of airplanes, the one and only founder of STEM Music. It's always a pleasure when you're able to join. So thank you so much. Yeah. But yeah, where do we catch up from? Because it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Last time, look, let me behave. Last time I was with you, I was doing some dancing, okay? We was having a great time. I really appreciated the pivot that you did that evening because I was like, I need some R&B. I need some like hip hop and like and I was having the time of my life.
Roy is talking about when we met in person, which I think we've now met in person like twice. Right?
Yeah, that was our second time in San Diego before you moved, and so it was like almost like a couple of weeks or something before you were about to move, or months maybe.
Yeah, and at the same time, you were about to take flight. You're about to do this musician stuff professionally, and it's been such a joy to watch you do this, Roy. Like, follow your dreams. Like, you have literally been pursuing your dreams since day one. You've been on tour. You've released an album. If you are tuning in right now, make sure to go wherever you find your music, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, and go check out STEM Music Takes Flight. The album is out now. I wanna play a sample, but I don't know if I'll get taken down.
Well, you just tell me what song and I'll sing it. Okay, how about that? We can always do that. We can sing to the song that you want to hear. But yeah, no, I am so grateful. I think where we start is like the fact that, you know, just having the different conversations we got to have in person and to see God just continuing to open the doors for everything that I'm really trying to do and pursue. I was just saying that I finished my homework before I came on the live chat. So I'm a master's in a master's program as a grad student. So yes, we still got homework and assignments, and you know it's a Sunday. You know,
congratulations! Yeah, that's when you start getting the Sunday scaries, right? Yeah. Okay, wait. So when did you start the master's program? It's master's.
I started it last fall, so a whole year ago. And by the way, I did a summer tour, STEM Music summer tour, 30 concerts over this summer from June 3rd to last weekend. Wow. And I took a summer class in June and a summer class in July. And got A's in both of those classes. I'm very proud of myself. But it's just a lot of hard work of just trying to continue to get the music out there, but also building a company. So I'm an artist and doing this, but I'm also like a company at the same time. So trying to build that. And most recently, the newest like product for STEM Music is the STEM Music Workshop. And so I've gotten to work on it in my master's degree program, which is a master's in education. But I've also gotten to like go out and do it, like and work with different students. And so to see the reactions and just how I feel like students are engaging with STEM, which is, I mean, that's what we're on here in a big part of. The reason is to get students interested in science, technology, engineering, math, or just the general population of people, just to be able to engage with it and not feel so intimidated. So yeah, it's been an amazing, like a super busy summer, and I'm like in a 3-week lull, and then I go right back into a fall tour, which I'm super grateful for as well.
You're a legitimately touring artist. Like, you are living off your craft. Like, that is
insane. You know how many times I cried on airplanes this summer? Like, I'm like stepping on an airplane, get ready to fly somewhere for a show, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is my life. Like, this is something that I always dreamed about doing. And, you know, when people are like, did you imagine it ever be like this? The answer is yes. Like, I was in my basement in my childhood home, like pretending I was touring the country. And so it this summer in particular, I think was the first time it really started to hit. Cause it's like, these are like, you're doing 30 shows, you know, like this is crazy. And I got to perform at the Udvar Hazy Hangar right by Dulles Airport, which is an amazing aviation museum. I got to sing, you know, airplanes songs and stuff. And yeah, man, it's been wild. Like, if I'm being honest, it's been wild. And I just saw my vocal coach today, and we haven't had a session in, I don't know. I said, thank you so much. Like, she definitely got me together to help me be able to sustain. You know, some days that I was doing a show or doing concerts, I was doing 3 in one day. And so that's
in one day,
a lot. So you got to really learn how to take care of your voice and warm it up and all the different things. So I was so grateful for her. And yeah, man, it's just been amazing. It's been awesome.
And for the people who don't know, like, when Roy is talking about a concert, Roy is a singer. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, Roy is a performer. He puts on a whole show filled with experiments, live vocals. Yes, the mic is on. And I'm speaking from attendance. I have been to a STEM music concert. Do you remember? This was
in LA. That was so gracious too. Like, you drove all that way to come up to a show. Like,
I had to. I mean, after, you know, knowing about STEM music, of course, virtually, and then us becoming friends with you, coming on the platform, STEM Stimulator Games season 1, 2, and 3. I think you've showed up as a co-host in all 3 seasons from the beginning. I had to at least see it in person myself, the sensation itself, you know. And it just so happens you were performing at a festival that was in LA, because I missed you in the San Diego festival. I don't know how wires crossed. But you were performing in LA, and I got to see you, and I got to see something magical, which is the kids light up when you start singing, when you start your songs. They jump along with you, but they're also learning. You can literally see them process some of the, not just the words that you're saying, but even the experiments, and you can hear them trying to follow the note, trying to find the note that you were singing. What's the biggest hit that you think the kids resonate the most with? And can you give us a little bit of a sample of that?
Yeah. The one, it's actually, first of all, a lot of people love the song Engineering, which is funny to me because that's the song that's my least favorite. And which is crazy because I'm an engineer. So I was like, what happened with that song? Like, from my vantage point. But this song is like, engineering. And so it's like, so flex on them with your design. Engineering. You gotta show off your bright mind. Engineering. So log all the data, shock all the haters, tell them this is engineering. You're gonna change the world every day. Engineering. So I always have the kids. Thank you. I have them sing that part, the engineering part. And actually in the show now, like, it's definitely like evolved.
Okay.
I use that song as the chill kid song. So I made up this segment where I try to honor those who might be neurodivergent or, you know, autistic or whatever in the audience, who are just like, or introverts who are just like, y'all doing a lot. Because the show, like you described it, is very energetic. We jump in high, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And so I try to take this opportunity. And so we actually sing that very softly in the show. And so it's this moment, but I think it's butted up right next to a song that has actually been very popular this summer. And it's actually like my first children's music song, like technical children's music song, because it's about rockets. It's called the Rocket Song, and it has movements to it. And oh my gosh, every show that I did this summer, that was the hit. Like it was just you need fuel for your rocket, you need fins to steer, a pointy nose that's better, engines with power, computer on board. Now clap 3 times, launch and explore, and it gets faster, and we clap more times as the song goes on. Get parents involved, and it's just really fun because you're actually like talking about different things that are on a rocket, but you're using the body and physical movement, which for young little kids is an amazing thing to have in the show. So that one is definitely fun. And then the theme song, everywhere we go, we call it still music. We call it still music. We call it still music.
Don't get me to singing with my raspy voice.
Yeah, no, that is definitely one that it always kicks off the concerts, and it is just a fun way to. I use it as my warm-up song now. Like it used to just start the concert and I would just do it, but like now to get people to be able to cheer. Oh, look at the pictures of us! Yes! I love it.
I remember this so vividly.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
This concert that I was able to go to. Concert. Let's see if it will actually play. This is from a while ago. Oh my God! This is from a while ago.
Just hope you don't get called on. And the final thing is, we're gonna learn how to celebrate each other. Okay? So when we call up our friends who do get a card, we're gonna clap it up for them and celebrate them.
Let me tell you, this was amazing for me to see in person. Roy, like you would.
It's crazy to me because I just quit my job. I just quit my job prior to that show. Yeah, that was insane. That's actually the reason why I have a vocal coach now, because what people don't know who are watching is that was one show out of 10 shows over 5 days. So I had 4 shows in Houston, 2 on a Thursday, 2 on a Friday. Flew to LA after that last show in Houston, 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday, 2 shows on Monday, and my voice was like shot.
And yet still so clear. Like let's listen for a sample, and then I want to scroll to the most latest shows where things are completely different.
We call it music. People gotta know. We call it music. We call it music. We call it music.
Oh, you were singing along though. That's what I love.
And then you haven't stopped. Like your Instagram is packed. You started but you continued honoring your Puerto Rican heritage. I love these videos that you do. These singing videos. This is like a little tiny disc concert.
Oh, which one was it?
What you saw?
I'm looking. I said, which one was it? There was different options up there. You are taking me down memory lane. This is wild. Like I'm kind of like, what? All of this has happened?
I'm just saying, this is literally all on your Instagram.
I'll be back in that corner too. This week I'm filming in this outfit, talking about a discography of my album. So I'm going to be talking through each song of like how it came to be. So I'm gonna be back in that corner again, doing the same thing, yo.
Oh, and you got your fans already on here. I'm a big fan.
I see you. Hello, y'all, man. Thank you for popping in.
And the news media has covered you a couple different times.
Live on your show that we will be a part of Somewhere Fest, which was Elsewhere Fest last year. So in partnership with Learning Lab Wichita, they have an education space in the festival this year. So on Friday, June 13th and Saturday, June 14th, I'll be doing STEM music concerts. I'm excited to announce today.
Oh my gosh. Roy, this is amazing. Like you've been on tour.
Felicia Rolfe, she is my contact and news anchor who is always like, you got something new, you got something, like, come on, we want to have you on the show. Yeah, like just so grateful that I have the opportunity to share what I'm doing as I continue to grow the audience and all the different opportunities. I get to actually perform at the National Air and Space Museum in DC on the National Mall September 12th. So if anybody,
on the National Mall?
Yeah, if anybody's in the DMV area, September 12th, I will be there doing 20-minute shows throughout the day from 10 a.m. to like 3 p.m. at the National Air and Space Museum on the National Mall, which is wild.
Wow, that is really wild. Overlooking like literally Washington as well as
yes.
Oh my gosh. So, but here's an example. You literally do experiments with the kids.
Whoa! What in the world? There we go.
happened in the last concert that I had on this summer tour. I was in Maryland, and we were in the Rockville Library, Memorial Library, and this girl, she squeezed the top of the balloon, and in the neck of the balloon, grows because you're applying that pressure up top, and so the carbon dioxide has nowhere to go. And I knew that thing was gonna bust. I was like, that thing, it's gonna pop, it's gonna pop, it's gonna pop. And I even I got it on camera too, and everybody screamed, and it was just this whole thing. We had so much.
And they love it. Like the kids love it. They're getting to do hands-on science experiments while learning about the science behind what they're doing and how it applies to real world,
And
jobs.
then you see the amphitheater one that you're passing, that was actually a milestone moment for me. So that's in Arlington, Virginia.
This one?
Yeah, and I kept telling the audience, this is my Lollapalooza, because it was just so cool. You're in front of all these people out in an outdoor amphitheater, and it's full. When I walked out on that stage and saw all those people, I was like, this is crazy. This is what I've been working towards, to have audiences of that size, 200 kids and their parents. It was just, it was amazing.
And this is 2 weeks ago. Oh my God. 200 Oh, that is, my gosh. And you're hitting the notes. There's one more video I want to show. There's the one when you were with the choir. Did I already pass it? You were literally in a room for a live performance with the choir.
Yes. That's going to be a little further down. It was early summer. So yeah, you just go down a little bit more. I think when I'm wondering, I'm like, was Stim Music tagged in it? It might have been.
I see. Because yes, I do follow your personal as well. So it might be on your personal, because that's the one I was looking for.
Because that's Born to Fly. I think that one is. Yeah, I think that one might be on my personal. Because it was more of a grown up, a grown up song. So I was I think I just kept it on my personal one.
That looked amazing. By the way, you can follow Roy Moy on his personal page. It's public. So it's at Roy T3 on Instagram. Shout out to you accepting our collab.
Yes, of course.
But I need to show you this man who, by the way, Roy, you've been looking fauna and fauna and fauna. What are you doing?
I've been running. I've definitely been hitting the gym and just trying to just be a little bit more healthier. When you are touring, you're trying to Chicago, Chi-Town. When you're touring, you gotta move. You gotta move with the kids. So you gotta be able to keep your stamina and all the things. So that's been helpful. And we try to just look good out in these streets,
But and I believe also living your purpose and being happy, happiness looks good on you. You know what I mean? You feel you look like you feel fulfilled right now.
I really am. And it's a couple things that done happen in recent times. We'll get into that at a different time. That we definitely we feeling extra special this weekend. I will say that. But yes, happiness and joy. It's definitely It's when you're getting to do what you love. It doesn't mean that life doesn't have struggles and hard times. But it's I'm so grateful that I get to do what I get to do. All summer, I've just been saying, man, my wildest dreams are coming true. This is insane. I cannot believe it. So yeah.
And I'm seeing right now the cover for Stim Music X-Flight, and here's
the track list.
All 15 songs on there. And to be honest, the one that has my heart in listening to the album, literally number one.
Really?
Because your dad is on there, and and your mom, right? They're both.
Your father are on there, yeah.
About your love
of everything. And I just thought, when you're thinking, because this is my debut album, by the way. Everybody watching, I've never made an album where it's a project, it's complete, it has a theme, all the things. Did I think it was going to be a children's music album? No, I thought it was going to be R&B or gospel or something, and it just so happened that this is where God has me right now. So sidebar. Be open to your dreams happening in a different way. That's what I'll say. That's a little flag note or whatever you can say. But yeah, like when I was thinking about this project years ago, like 5 years ago, actually when I first started STEM Music in 2019, I knew I wanted to make this album. But I was like, you got to do something general first because you want to make sure it's something that's accessible for everybody and that there's a wide interest.
Right.
But my first love is airplanes. And so I was like, man, if I can have my parents. And so what actually that audio is from an interview that when I was getting an award for something a couple of years ago, there was this audio piece. And when I went back to listen to it, I said, whoa, that's like perfect. So I produced it, like cutting it up, a little bit or whatever. But I was like, this is, when you think about albums that you love and you hear the sound bites and you hear the interludes and different things. And I said, no. And then what's funny about the singing, because it's an a cappella song, is I'm actually like sampling myself. And this is only for people who know like the deep cuts. So it's probably only like 3 people who know this. But you can go to the STEM Music Nation TikTok. So it's called STEM Music Nation. And on TikTok, it might be on the Instagram too. I did a song about the heart, the different areas of the heart. And it was like, STEM Music Valentine, got the heart on my mind. Just a couple, da-da-da-da. And then like I defined like the aorta and the da-da-da. That, the way that I sang that is STEM Music Takes Flight. Like I was like, oh no, I'm sampling myself and I'm gonna sing what I sang for the heart, but I'm gonna change it to aviation lyrics. And then
that's clever.
Yeah, so
really clever. Oh my God. So instead of like the chambers of the heart, you went through like the engine.
Yeah, and I added on. So it was just the beginning part that was sampled, but then when I go into so bring your airplanes and rockets, helicopters, that's new. So that part is new, but the beginning part, and I just laugh every time I hear the beginning of the album. I'm like, how you stealing from yourself?
Not stealing. Well, I'm going to take the risk of being taken down, and I want to play a little bit of the first song, at least up to your parents' speech is over, and then we'll continue because I just think this is the heart. Honestly, I love it.
Soaring high, just right. It's a grand celebration of aerospace and aviation. With wings we fly, gonna touch the sky. So bring your airplanes and rockets, helicopters and drones. We will learn about how they work, how they flow, explore the atmosphere, reaching new heights. STEM music takes flight. STEM music takes flight.
He was already fascinated with creating. I could see his creative mind then. And he always talked about airplanes, and like we would go to pick up like my mother from the airport or a relative, and he was always fascinated with the structure of airplanes.
Roy was an exciting child. I remember we bought him a Christmas present. Those Fisher-Price airplanes. And I remember with that airplane, he just, was so enamored. And it seemed like that was the spark.
So bring your airplanes, rockets, helicopters, and drones. We will learn about how they work, how they flow.
And that is so worth it. For whatever strikes I get, that is so worth it. Roy, that is so beautiful and such a great start to the album. It gives us, the fans, like a piece of your heart that is literally your beginning. Like your parents are your beginning. And then to find out that there isn't even like a musicality tie-in to Easter egg to past Roy. Like that's even mind-blowing that you're sampling yourself from your beginnings on your debut album. Like Roy, I'm wishing nothing but the best for this album. I'm hoping not only does STEM music take flight on the charts, but I want people to purchase it, listen to it, stream it.
Listen, whoever's watching this, whether it's live right now, and I see the applause, Tia07, I see you. Thank you for the love. But for real, listen to it. My team and I, we just submitted it for the Grammys 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so we the application process closed on Friday. So we submitted it 2 weeks early, which I was very proud of us for getting it in early. But we find out the beginning of October if we made the ballot for the children's music category for the Grammys. And then if we make the ballot, then God willing, when we make the ballot, then we promote and try to get people to vote, Grammy members to vote for it. And then November 16th is when the nominations come out. So that's the focus right now. That's why I'm doing the discography videos, filming them this week to tell the story about the album and each song. And we also have some social media graphics that we're working on right now, where we did a song commentary typed. So you have like a carousel where you can swipe through and read, the story about it from a words, but we'll also have video as well. So yeah, it's about to be a long journey because it takes a lot of effort and energy to promote. If anybody who doesn't know about like Grammys, Golden Globes, Oscars, all those award shows that you love and you like to watch, it's a campaign. So you got a campaign for it. So, but we're just at one. It was a monumental and historic moment to submit my first debut album, like my album. It's like what? Not everybody gets the chance to submit their album for the Grammys. Just that alone is an amazing, huge step for me in my career. So we are we're going to give it our best shot. And I keep telling the team, like, look, we got some heavy hitters releasing this cycle in the children's. Okay. I mean, legends releasing albums, which is exciting, but it also is daunting. It's like, oh my gosh, but I keep saying, just give it your best shot and, like throw the kitchen sink at it and see what happens. And we just go from there because the win is the album actually got made and put out like that. It happened. It exists now forever in the world. So that
everything else is cherry on top. Exactly. Like honestly, the fact that you have submitted is also like it's crazy. We are hoping and praying that it gets nominated. We are wishing over here, and definitely, if I could vote, you got my vote for the win. And wouldn't that be so sweet for the Grammy-nominated singer to now finally get a win on their debut album? That
Roy, you got to dream these things, and people talk about manifesting and all of that. It's like you can't be delusional in the sense of you not don't put the work. You got to put the work in, right? But dream big. That's my thing. It's like just dream big and see what happens. But
and you have a supportive community. So I mean, I was looking for this video. This is the one.
Don't make me cry. No, don't.
Yes. So we're gonna play it, and then we're gonna hear from Roy what we just watched because this video is insane. Oh my God, let's go.
Okay, so that's my friend, my really good friend Justin Noel Hall, who is incredibly talented. He's an amazing friend, but he is incredibly talented, and so he orchestrated, like he composed all of the music to a song on the album called Born to Fly, which is the only children's music song that's on the album. It kind of is like the last full song on the album. And the song came to be because I just I was in a space. This was 2025, maybe the end of it was 2024 because what the time step on that video, but 2024 when I was writing it, and I was just in a space where I was like, man, like things are happening for me, but I want more to happen. I know I was born to do great things. And I just was like, what if other people feel this way? What if people, no matter what age they are, especially people who are over 30 or over 40 or over 50, and they're like, I thought I was supposed to be doing something great or whatever. And I wanted to just like pour hope and inspiration into people to help them believe that you were born to fly. And fly is whatever you want it to be, being a chef, a comedian, a singer, an actor, an engineer, whatever it is that you believe you're supposed to be doing. Yes, you may have gone on a detour, but if you were born to fly, like you're gonna fly. And at the end, he's about to play this clip, but at the end, the vamp it says gonna fly through the struggle, gonna fly through the pain, fly with a purpose, gonna fly with my faith, fly above it all, gonna fly every day, fly with the sun and the rain. And we just repeat that over and over. And that to me is us as humans in life. because all of that stuff exists, but we're still gonna fly. Like, and if you think about airplanes that fly at the airport, there may be a storm and there's a ground stop, so you can't do anything. But that storm is not gonna be there forever. So once the storm is over, then they taxi and they're able to take off and fly. So and even when there's winter weather storms, right? Like there's de-icing that will happen on the wings and stuff like that, so that the plane, so that it's very much a metaphor for life. So yeah, I love this song. It's a beautiful song.
How poetic. Okay, let's listen. God, Roy! Oh my God, that is literally worth getting stricken down. That is beautiful. Thank you for your beautiful talents and keeping on sharing them with the world. And I love that now the world is feeding back into your cup. Like I can see the future. Okay, I want to say it. I can see the future. Roy, we talked about this when you were.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. Actually, the album, I don't know where I was, but I was listening to it through just again, and I got to that song "Born to Fly" because it's a 7-minute song. Okay, it's a long song, but it is definitely a journey. It's an experience, and I was just bawling because I was like, it continues to hit me that we did that. We recorded that live on July 17th. It was the first thing that I recorded after turning 33, which was in my Jesus year.
Yeah, Jesus year. You call it Jesus year? I love that.
No, literally. It was 2 days after I turned 33, and we're in this church cafeteria. We moved all the stuff out the way and set up at Holy Savior Catholic Academy. Shout out to them for allowing us to use that space. And the thing that I most love as a singer, like as a vocalist, someone who really prides himself on live performing, the mic, like you said, the mic being on, that is not a perfect vocal performance, of course, because I'm a hard judge, but that performance is 7 minutes straight of me singing. No touch-ups, no anything. We had to do touch-ups on strings and on other things like post-production. The one thing that is live, like completely live, the whole song, is my voice. And that is something that for 7 minutes, I'm singing, and I'm live. Like, I'm just so proud. That was one of the things I wanted to challenge myself because, growing up in the gospel space, there's a lot of live albums that happen, and so that was just something I wanted to tackle is like, can I record live and put it on an album and have my voice live? And so to get to do that is just amazing. But I mean, this experience is just showing me I put it on my vision board last year because I make a vision board every year. And it said, go farther together. And there, on that song alone, there's over 30 people involved in that song alone. And so the album, there's 3 elementary schools. All 4 of my grandparents are on the album. My parents, as you heard, my niece, she's 7 now, but she was 6 when we recorded the song together. I mean, it's just it's an amazing, and it's like I live in Wichita, Kansas. So it's like a Wichita album too. Like all the producers, all like songwriter, everybody, like, there's only a few, like 95% of this album is Wichita people, which is also another cool and amazing thing to try to like show your city that like you can do it from here, like you can create something really special and incredible from here. But yeah, all that stuff listed. I mean, there's so many people involved. And so it just makes me excited about what's next. I will say, like, I have been itching to do some R&B. And so I'm like, could I do like a 3-song EP or something this fall? Like figure out something in this busy schedule to do on the side, just because I'm really loving that space too. And the R&B scene is really starting to cycle back around. Like it never left, but there's some energy that is definitely starting to bubble up, and it's exciting because it's like, that's that feel good, you gotta feel it, that's that feel good. So yeah, but I'm
well, I mean, it brings us to our next topic.
Look, let me get ready. Media training. Let me get ready.
let me attack it from this angle. I mean, you already know the question I have, but since you're in an R&B space and really want to do a side project in R&B space,
Done.
how do you feel anyway about this general momentum that's happening right now, not only for R&B music, but music as a whole, where you're now getting AI artists, right? Folks who are coming into this space using, whether it's Suno or using, whatever different, Google Music is all in it now, where they are not only doing AI for the melodies and instrumental vocals and all this kind of stuff, so they know drums, no piano, even, it's literally all AI.
Yeah.
And then there's also this element of vocals, right? Now there's additional vocals and multiple different types of vocals from purely generated vocals, like purely AI generated vocals, but then there's also cloned vocals of individuals that then are sort of like auto-tuned to sound like
there's so much going on right now.
What do you feel about this space? Yeah.
It's a good
As a real musician, you know?
Yeah. As a real artist, as a real singer, songwriter, because I do both. I don't just sing, I also write songs. And so I think I'm of a both and mindset. I was just at an event singing yesterday, and they were like, and bleep AI, like they were like all against it and stuff. I think it's something that's going to be present no matter what an artist feels about it. And so there's a part of me that when I think about, like, I have an engineering professor, and he's inspired by me because I'm making music about STEM, and he's one of my aerospace professors. So I'm making songs about aerospace on this album that teach engineering concepts. Yes, they're for children, but there's real engineering terms on this album. And so he was like, he sent us an email, me and some other professors. I've been inspired by Roy with STEM music, and so I'm using Suno to make songs that he wants to use in his class and different things like that. And so there's a part of me that's like, man, like, how cool is it that this is so accessible for people who don't naturally have that talent or who haven't honed that skill set? But the other side of me is like, what? You inspired by me, and now you just using Suno to do what I brilliantly do? Like, this is a brilliant thing that I've come up with, and that, like, is very unique and special and takes a lot of talent and all the things. And so so it is a hard thing to from the artist angle, it is a hard thing to see happen, because you're like, it's like saying, okay, I'm a carpenter and I work on a job site, and now and I build a house with wood and bricks, and I'm laying all the stuff. And then now you have, speaking of STEM and technology, you have houses that are being 3D printed with a machine that's, and it's laying.
No, but that's literally happening.
That's literally happening. So I think it's the same thing. It's like, I know those carpenters probably feel like, man, that's crazy. Like, because I'm out here in the hot heat, I'm out here doing all these different things. So I think it's the same thing in the music space. What I think is important is just maybe the distinction or the notification of it. I think that's one thing that can be controllable, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to stop AI artists, because some of them have fooled me too. There was one who had a love song about two gay guys, and I was just in it. I was like, this is my song. And I said, but it sounds, but my ear is very, very, sensitive, and so I can hear a lot. I said, I don't know, but that one part sounds a little, man, this way. And so then I was just listening to it, a couple times. So I was like, let me do some research. And I looked it up, and I was like, this is an AI artist. I was so frustrated. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, I know I'm hearing some things in there that just don't sound right.
Well, but explain the AI frustration. Like, so why is it when you're just listening to it, you're all in, you're very happy about it, and then the minute you find out that it's AI, what is the switch?
I think people have that reaction like I do, because you're like, there was no real human connection in this. There was no real emotion behind it, in the sense of like, it happened to somebody, and who knows, like, if somebody put prompts into a thing, like, then okay, there's an argument there. But I think it's just so new that at least I can only speak for myself. I don't want to put anything on anybody else. But for me, it's like, man, like this is like somebody cheated, or somebody is not being authentic, or this is not being created from a real place. And so it's not making me feel like I want to connect with it like a human. Now, you can look at the same thing in food technologies too. We do it all the time. I'm guilty because I know I done ate some fake stuff, or artificial food color. Okay, so
artificial fake crab meat, a little bit.
but yes, but that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure, I've done that and enjoyed it but then you have people who are like, no, it's got to be organic. It's got to be, so I think, like I said, I just try to be realistic about it. I don't want to just be like, oh, this is so bad. Because I think, like I said, to back to the access part of it, I do love the fact that my professor's like, oh, I want to create some music because like the average music person, listener, like it's not that important. Is the song good or not? Like that's how they feel, right? Yeah. About it most of the time. And so if that's a way to excite his students to get to learn more, I mean, of course, that's what I'm trying to do with STEM music. So I should be saying like, no, because you're taking me out of business. But here's the part. So let me finish that thought. So I think that access to it is kind of cool for people who are not gifted in that area or don't have the capacity to create in that way. Now, I will say on the artist side, the thing that does give me comfort, because once again, I want to say this again. I don't want to be like the people who were against the internet. Okay? Has the internet left us? No, we are literally streaming live right now on the internet. So I don't want to have this mindset of it's the devil and it can never exist and it can never. It's like that. Okay, that ship has sailed. Stuno is here. These other Google Music, all these things are here. So how do you elevate? How do you level up? And like I said, I think the notation of it, I think that is something that is controllable. Of like, this was made with AI. Actually, when applying for the Grammys, when submitting my album for the Grammys, there was a question that we had to answer. Was AI a part of this project? And it explained that it wasn't going to, if you selected yes, it wasn't going to mark you off or mark you down as like, blackball you. It wasn't, they even wrote a description like, we just want to know that AI was a part of the project, if AI was a part of the project or not. And so I think that's what I mean by like, because maybe then there's separate categories. Maybe it becomes like, and I'm talking about the Grammys, but it could be anything, right? But maybe there's just separate categories of like, these are the AI charts, right? Yeah. And now these are.
So you're describing, and just to give a little pushback, you're describing a situation where it could be separate but equal.
I mean, I'm just saying. We have regular mail and we have email, and they both exist in our world today. Snail mail, as people call it, right? That's kind of what I'm looking at. It's like that because now I go to the artist side. The thing that gives me comfort is you can love an AI song till the cows come home. Baby, that ain't gonna sing live to you at the concert, at the show. You can even hire people to sing that song live or play the song live. And people might
maybe you can have a hologram.
Or a hologram. But it's still not going to replace the human connection.
Which it shouldn't. And that's where I think we agree the most.
Yeah.
And somebody, I think, who is more on the like heavy proponent of AI and is actively an AI artist, I think the part that I synergize the most with human artists, and particularly, with the talent, the thing that I fell in love the most with artists who generally manipulate their voice as an instrument and are able to move our emotions in what I honestly thought to be magic before AI. I don't want replacement. I absolutely do not want a replacement. I love the idea that you just said about how music is now basically democratized, right? Amongst those who are talented and those of us who are not. Like I feel like music has always been created to connect human beings, right? It's been a way to speak it's almost beyond language. Like it's speaking your feelings in the most rawest form and connecting that message to another demographic. Now, it's whether you feel those emotions or not, you are still singing them and making somebody feel those emotions, right? And so that's where a little bit of my pushback about whether AI can
because genuinely, like when I heard that AI song, right? Like I was feeling something, right? The one that I was telling you about, like I was feeling something. I think, I think you're right. Here's a good example for youth in particular, though. And I don't know, because I actually don't know your views on this, but
I'm about to. Yeah, we're about to get into it.
I'm really curious about it, because the same way you're asking me and like how I feel about AI music versus like, you know, me being a real artist who sings.
Yeah.
And by the way, just this little sidebar, it's some studio singers and live singers, so that's a whole other conversation. So issues have been happening within music from a real and not real standpoint. For this is nothing new. But it's the sense of like you having a PhD that you earned and people getting honorary PhDs. Like those two things exist in the world. I don't know what your viewpoint is, or better yet, you having earned a PhD and people just getting a PhD. Like, I don't know, like what would your feeling be on that? If it's like, oh wow, I just took a quiz on Google and now I have a PhD. Like, I don't know. What would you feel about that?
I don't know. For me, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
I think personally, how other people earn their degrees and what they do with their degrees does not affect what I put in my mouth. You know what I mean? And so ultimately, like, even there's this whole kerfuffle with this lady.
Oh yeah.
Who apparently might have, you know, forged the PhD, whatever. And there's been such a reaction that to me, I really thought was a little bit ugly. Like, yes, there's fun and games with it, playing around with it, but there's such a visceral, I got my degree. Here is my dissertation in this. And it's just so, it's nasty, because imagine the people who don't have a PhD, who've been shut out of these ivory towers, who have not been able to get a PhD, not because they're not smart, but because of socioeconomic disparities that already exist in the academic space. Now you are whipping your, you know, PhD to the internet to talk about, oh, mine is real and yours is fake. I personally don't have the appetite for that conversation. I know I have my PhD and it's real. You can go look up my dissertation. How somebody else gets theirs when they have an honorary biochemistry degree, I don't care. We can be on the same whatever thing, you know?
So I think that's what, so you're answering it, I feel like the same way I'm answering the AI question. That like, because I think for me, it's like you're delusional if you're thinking like, well, we gotta kill it out and everything. It's like, unfortunately, fortunately, whatever, however you feel about it, like these things exist. And so I think just like you as a PhD, like you're going to do your research, you're going to work in your labs, you're going to do all the things that you do because you have the knowledge and you went through the work and all the things, right? And so it's the same thing for me. It's like, no, you just got to keep creating. And I think I want to say that to other artists out there. It's like, you have to keep creating, you know, making your shows great, you know, having great collaborations with, you know, different people and artists. Because if you just put your head in the sand and like freak out, it's like, okay, well, what are you going to get from that? It's like the AI artists are going to continue to show up and, you know, continue to do things like you said, holograms, like it's a whole bunch of stuff. But I do think that the thing that like I said, gives me the most comfort is connecting with the hologram. I mean, because even at raves and stuff where there's not an artist singing, you know, they're the DJs, just, you know, DJs that are playing, like people still feel a connection and stuff like that. But I think the connection of, specifically for me, a human being singing from their throat, from their vocal cords, and connecting with the audience, I think that's something that's just irreplaceable, and it's something that humans are going to continue to want moving forward. There will be humans that, you know, people who want a variety of things, who only want AI, you know, like down the road. But I think there will always be this pocket where people want to experience that coming from a human, living, breathing just like them.
And I fully agree with you on that point. That's the point. Like, for me, I think the conversation on AI, like, it's unfortunate that it's first received with, this thing is going to replace life. Like, that is sad that's where we start the conversation. We start talking about, oh, how is this going to fit with human artists? Like, it's a technology in my eyes, in the same way you just referenced the internet is the technology. But even in that reference, when the internet came, people was terrified. It was going to steal jobs. It was going to do all Y2K. We're all going to die and all that stuff. Not only did the internet come and not replace all jobs, there are some jobs that were replaced. There are. There are jobs that don't exist
anymore. That's the part I appreciate, because we do have to tell the truth. that there are things that, but it's not a, what do they say, a some loss, or I'm not saying the phrase
Right. It's not all. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not only did they not erase all jobs, they erased some, but they didn't erase all of them. They also created a lot more jobs than they ever could replace. And so, to me, AI in music, and particularly for human artists, like my personal advice is you should work with the train that's coming with you instead of standing in front of it.
Yeah.
You being the person. I've been saying this about AI from day one. Like when we were on AMP or whatnot. How I started my AMP shows was by using ChatGPT to help me talk, like literally design my show and help me talk about Met Gala as we infuse science into it. Like I have been using this as a tool from day one. And in fact, the lady who became not number one, but she was up on Billboard and had an interview with Gayle King because she had an AI audience there. She said some of the very similar things, right? She was talking about how it's a tool, much like a guitar, much like like a piano, that you can work with. And to me, I really want to hone in on the earlier part that you mentioned. Like, if music is supposed to be something that connects us all, and it's supposed to be something that you can use to spread your message. Now that means that there's a message that was previously not being spread, previously locked away behind the talent gatekeeping, right? Because there's the talent, as you say, studio, live, there's all this definition of talent, but it's all kind of subjective, and there's somebody at the gate who's literally deciding what gets through and what's not, which means in the messaging world, it's who decides what message gets to everybody else and what message doesn't, which doesn't seem fair. It just hasn't not seemed fair.
That's an interesting way to frame it, though, because that is a different perspective. Like, once again, like if you're somebody who's always been in the arts or been gifted to sing, or whatever, you're not thinking about that perspective. You're to my professor's point, right? Like, he's not a singer, but like now he's like so excited because he sent us like 4 songs or whatever on Suno. I think what the tussle is the work. True to what you just said, people are a lot of times just born with an ability, right? It's a birthright that they have, of a gifting that they have. But I think the part for the artist that's the struggle is the work and the effort that's put into writing 10,000 whatever, doing 10,000 hours of songwriting or performing or learning how to play an instrument. And then that just being replaced in seconds. And there goes that word replace, where you're like that, but that's what it feels like for artists is what, from the artist perspective, it feels like, well, I just spent all this time, like lifetime, right? Like a lifetime to do all the things I'm doing. And it feels like, it may not be to your point, but it feels like that people are just snapping their fingers and being able to do it. And so it kind of, I think on the artist side, it kind of feels like there's all this work that is now like being negated and not, but like we've been saying, and this is what I appreciate about us, and myself in particular as an artist, is this, I still have this open mind to like, okay, to your point, how do you work with this? Because even from a production standpoint, is there a way where, okay, when I go in, I like to cut my track to this, or I want the intro to have this fade in, or whatever different thing, like, right? There's AI that could be used in that process too, not just the vocals or the beat making or whatever, but the editing, right? The producing. And so, there is space to think about how to do that. But I'm just thinking even about the newspaper and the online news articles now, right? And like the changes that have happened. And so
But even that, I think like the perception from the arts is very art specific. Yeah. Like you as an engineer, and you kind of are in that open mind space because you're also at the intersection of arts and science, right? And
technology, yeah.
Because what people don't even factor in, as they're scared of AI, stealing or replacing artists' jobs, is that where AI came from is in science, and it did replace things in science, but you don't see a revolution in scientists trying to fight it back. In fact, let me give a concrete example, which is protein engineering, right? And structure prediction in particular. If we start talking about how we know how to drug a protein, how to make a molecule that is able to affect a specific protein so that your disease goes away, or disease change, whatever, affect the environment of that protein so that it folds well. These are all drug contexts, right? it's because we know the shape of that protein. We know what that structure looks like. And we talk about that a lot here on Stimulated because I love proteins. I'm a protein engineer myself. And for decades, since the beginning of structural biology, which actually started with myoglobin, which is what I have up here. Shout out to myoglobin was the first protein that we knew the picture of, and therefore we knew how to drug in the shape of it, because shape is tied to structure. People's whole PhDs we were just talking about PhDs. People's whole PhDs, 7 years, were all about just finding out what's the shape of one protein. What's the shape of that? Because it took so long using X-ray crystallography, using NMR, and then most recently cryo-EM. It still takes quite some time to just get an accurate picture experimentally of that of the structure of a protein. In comes well, first there was Rosetta. And Rosetta tried to predict that, it wasn't as faithful. But in comes Google's DeepMind, but really Google's AlphaFold. AlphaFold was able to accurately predict a structure in seconds. Like we're talking maybe at the max 30 minutes, right? Nowadays is literally seconds. Predict structure. So something that took whole PhDs, 7 years, has now been reduced. This is a concrete example, has now been reduced to 30 seconds. The science community, instead of a revolt against AlphaFold, they gave the Nobel Prize to Dennis Asabi in 2024. Well, half of the Nobel Prize to Dennis Asabi in 2024, as well as John Champa for structure prediction, for this milestone achievement of being able to move the field forward. Now, I will say in the same breath, the other half went to my PhD advisor for figuring out how to de novo design proteins from scratch, making them from scratch on the computer. And so all I'm just saying here is that scientists are approaching this idea of AI very differently, because AI has now been able to code, which means engineers' jobs have been replaced, coding positions, technicians' positions have been replaced, but those same people seem to be approaching it in a different, well, not everybody, but obviously a lot of people in the engineering space are now figuring out, how do I vibe code with it? Like, where do I figure out where AI messes and makes it better? Let me be part of the AI revolution so that I make sure that the AI final product is actually ethical, is actually something we want in the world. And it seems so opposite to what
I think the artist in me, it's funny. It is funny. Like, I feel like I'm, the good angel bad. Like, I feel like because I literally am in the middle, which is what I love about STEM music. And yeah, I'm not gonna share it on here, but we can talk a different time about some ideas that I kind of do have with, like, maybe there's a way to not there is a way, but like specifically for me and what I'm doing. But I think the artist side is like, when I think about the science side, it's like, yeah, what's the result of the finding the protein structure and all those different things? This is because we can better produce drugs and better plant, which what do those things do? They ultimately are helping human beings with health, with other things, right? And that's something that we want. So I think a lot of people could get behind that, and scientists, because it's like, yes, it may have taken 7 years for that PhD, but it's like, if I could have gotten it in a year, I would have wanted to get it in a year, right? And so I think that feeling on that end of it is very pro AI, because you're wanting to get to that result faster to help more people, to create drugs more quickly. And I think on the artist side, on the music side, it's like, okay, you can get to it faster, but it feels like it's stripping away at a process that has been, tell as old as time, like, of where you're crafting a story in rooms with writers, or even if it's just yourself, you're journaling and you're taking that time to write, then you're going into, whether people are figuring out with instrument. By the way, technology being used in music, beat makers, right? That moved away from
synthesizers,
right? So there, it's always been there. But I think that process, I think the biggest, this is just my opinion, I think the biggest pushback is that even with the synthesizers, even with the talk box, even with the beat, the MIDIs, the beat making machines, and all the things, there was still a process of putting it together with using the technology. Whereas now it's like, that whole process is gone. It's like,
No, I didn't see that, and I think that is a misconception. I would invite you. I can even send you some credits to go check out Suno. It is a process to get to a finalized song.
you do, but it's not in the same way, which may be
No,
okay.
it is not
It
in
may be
the
okay. You know what I mean? Like that's how it's been over time. But I guess I'm just trying to share
Yeah.
perspective of the artist. Like that's what the feeling is. The feeling is like, oh, this whole thing, you know, that had a process that like, oh, I played these chords, or I went in and I sang these vocals, and then I stacked every harmony and did all this stuff, is now like, I can say, Suno, put a 3-part harmony on this, make it a minor chord, make it or whatever, and then like, broom, it'll pop it out. So there is, to your point, still a process, but those things are not, you know, being experienced or crafted by the human voice or the human person playing. So I think for the musicians and the singers, it just feels it feels like a robbing, whereas on the science side of the example you gave, that feels like a gifting, you know, like it feels like, man, if I would have had this information sooner, that would have been so much more helpful, so I didn't have to spend 7 years to do it. Like it feels like a gifting, whereas on the artist side, which, you know, I'm sure will change over time, just in the experimentation of, I mean, the president of the Grammys Recording Academy, he was even, you know, on a panel talking about him being in studios and seeing AI being used in studios all over. And there was a huge like uproar in the comments of that post and all the things. And so I think there will be some calibration back and forth, but I think I'm just sharing a good perspective from both sides of like what you explained. I think for people in that experience on the science side, it feels like a gift. It's like, man, this is because we want to do stuff quicker, because we want to save more lives. We want to help people have better lives. You know, all that stuff.
But that part right there, because you just shared a perspective that I really appreciate, and it's a perspective from a musician, right? So somebody who's creating music and has been creating music for years, and going through that process from the creator standpoint, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have been on the other side, which is the listener, right? The people who appreciate the music, not necessarily create it, and really appreciate the value of it. And so one thing you said that I kind of want to push back on a little bit, which is that in science, it's for the good of humanity, whereas maybe in arts, you know, not so much, or maybe it's not as powerful as that. I don't view it that way. As a listener, I think arts are for the good of humanity. Like
Absolutely.
what music does for
like
us.
with more of it being made quicker, that it's blessing more people and like helping
Exactly, because what I think creators and musicians who are against AI are stuck on is I think they're romanticizing the struggle. They're romanticizing the process, the long length of it, and like they're salivating in the sweat, in the and less so.
Because baby, it's real sweat and it costs real money. So that's
But if you're romanticizing on that and not necessarily the product, then you can't really see the product for what it's worth, right? Because what you said at the very beginning is you had a song that was made by AI, right? And it connected and resonated with you until you realized that it was made by AI.
It's fake. It's not like a real person. I thought it was like a real story. So like I guess that's the part for me that really made me go, ugh, was not just simply that it was AI, but when I was listening to the lyrics, I'm like, I really want this to be real. And I'm now like talking about life, but like from a representation standpoint of being a gay, Black, and Latino male and not often getting to hear songs. I mean, there's plenty that are out there I haven't heard yet, but that maybe are in the sonic that I want it to be in and stuff, which is kind of like your argument. Like, well, there was a song in the sonic with the message that you wanted to hear.
And now there are more because more people can do it. Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted it to be from a real person. And who knows, maybe it could have been someone putting in things saying like make a gay song, but it just feels as an artist, to your point about romanticizing and stuff, you know, we are the feelings community. It is like,
I love that.
You just feel like, dang, like
not on a shirt.
You're like, dang, that's not a real, you know, person or whatever who's, you know, like it does have and that's why it's a controversial topic. I just think I love that you're offering that perspective too, because something that I am thinking about in my head, especially when my professor sent that email with the Suno songs. I don't want to share it now because it's not a well-formed thought or thing, but it has something to do with STEM music where I could see something happening with that. That gets to the point of what I think you're talking about in the sense of helping people. Like to the point of my professor trying to use those songs to students are still going to have to take the tests and all the stuff, but he wants to use it to energize the room because he saw me energize the room. But once again, I go back to that artist side. Guess who's not in the room energizing them anymore?
The human artist. Well, and here's my last pushback. Here's my last pushback, because I think what you said right there is so true about how people view AI music. They view it as, this is not real. That's the first reaction. This is not a real story because it was an AI, so it can't be real. There's no human behind this, so it wasn't real. Now, here's my pushback, and I'll use some examples, right? Human musicians don't always speak out from their perspective. Sometimes it's a story that is nice, that is being said. Let's take an example from my favorite musician, and the theme and the reason for this season 6 of Stimulator Games, Nicki Minaj.
Oh, okay, God, I'm just gonna bring her up.
She raps about a real,
but keep going.
She raps about a lot of real stuff, like growing up in Trinity, growing up in Queens, being a mogul and having come from ashes, or really getting it from the mud, and now living this majestic life and navigating this unreal life that has never been lived, especially not by a Black woman at that status, and not an immigrant woman, and not somebody who would be in the body of a Nicki Minaj. And so she's really the only person who can write that story, which is part of the thing that I love, is like Trailblazer. But then there's some songs, like some of my favorite, like High School, which patently never happened at all. But we love that song. We love it. He came from Jamaica. He owned a couple acres, a couple fake visas. Who came from Jamaica? Who? You don't know. Nobody came from Jamaica with fake visas, right? But we love that song because of the way it makes us feel, and maybe we might even resonate with some parts of the narrative context, even knowing full well it has nothing to do with Nicki Minaj's own journey, own story, own narrative. It might be loosely tied, but it's not at all linked.
As a songwriter, I mean, that is oftentimes what can happen, is like you have the genesis of a story, and then you're either romanticizing it or fluffing it up or adding things that maybe weren't there, or
fully making it up, Roy. Like a lot of musicians fully make it up.
I will also say there are songs that are literally just made up. Like there's artists who write songs all the time that are just made up, like from scratch.
But so then, why is it when AI makes up a song?
Yeah,
it's received different.
I think
and when a human makes up,
I think it's hard because it's not. It wasn't a human who made that up. That I think that's the thing that people are struggling with. But it's using what it's learned from humans to make the thing up, or a human saying, this is what I want the song to be about, and it producing it. So I think it's just a hard thing, because artists have the talent, and not even just singers, people who make their life on songwriting, not even like singing or anything. Like, that is a talent, that is a craft and art. So I think it's always going to be this struggle, because I just think about like newspapers and websites or online thing, because people who came from that era are like, but there's nothing like a well-crafted like newspaper article story, and you got places like the Jasmine brand or other things that and that's a sense of TMZ or whatever. That's a sense of news that
Shade Room,
right? Like Shade Room, like people get their news from these platforms, and there are people who are like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Like, no, it should be classic, so I think you're always going to have that. I want to be open enough to, as I journey forward, to see if there's things that I want to partake in, that I want to use. But I do think that
I love an open gay man. I love it. Okay, as gay men,
the older I get, it's like the more close you are, because you can still make a decision.
Not enjoyable.
Yeah, you can still make a decision. I don't want to partake in this. Like, you can. Yeah. But at least you were open enough to hear it out, like, which is what I love about this conversation. I love that. I'm like,
I love this conversation, Roy.
I'm hearing the other side, the person who, doesn't have the gifting or whatever, and now they have this access, and it feels great for them to have. And so, I think it's just something that people are going to struggle with. But the best artists or leaders or people are I think people who find a way to either integrate or learn along with whatever the technology is, And
Yeah,
and
speaking of integration.
come on, tell your AI. So I want to hear this. Look,
And so I really am making a pitch for you to collaborate with my AI artist.
you are. He was asking me. I said, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm open.
And
How
it's a
open are we?
pitch. I love that you're open. Yes. And so what would actually, so let me back up. My AI artist is called Mwana Steam. Mwana in Zimbabwe means child. And so by definition, it's child of steam in so many different ways. And so it's child of steam because it's literally, AI is literally made from science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Like, those are the disciplines that came together to make up artificial intelligence. But it's also a child of Stimulator, Stimulator. It's a version of who I thought I was when I was a black kid interested in science and not seeing any black scientist role models to really rely on. And particularly, not a lot of black Zimbabwean scientist role models. You know, shout out to the Americans who had, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these other folks to be able to lean on. But even in that context, it's not a lot of us. It's not a lot of black biochemists. In fact, I was the first black biochemist to graduate in my lab, as well as I'm still looking in my department, and to be honest, maybe in the whole of University of Washington to get a PhD in biochemistry. That is still out there, probably one of the first, let me say, maybe not the exact first. And so for me, having the child of STEAM be able to sing from a perspective of what's the possibility of science, especially in this moment, and really celebrate AI as an achievement of humanity and how it's moving forward. And so so that's the first part. Mwana Steam is my AI artist, and then I released a song in November. It's called Science Rules the World. We'll listen to a snippet,
Okay.
but I have also then, because I love having you here to tell you this in person, and I really might put this down so I can actually see your face when I tell you this, but you inspired me so much with STEM music in a way that I don't think you even understand. Like, I have been banging on the drum of diversity, equity, and inclusion as a black scientist throughout my PhD matriculation, and then as I was graduating, I was faced with this question. It's like, okay, I know that there's a dearth of black scientists, and I may have been a first, but I don't want to be the last.
Yeah.
How do I add to the collective, to the fight in a way that is different from, you know, recruitment, the efforts that are currently going on, scholarship efforts, all of that kind of stuff that's there? Where can I, you know, apply my unique brand to this fight? And that's where hip hop biochemistry came from. And it started from a concept of, okay, let me use what I have been using as study materials to teach about my favorite topics in, you know, biochemistry. And so using Beyonce music, you know, hand in hand with teaching about a specific protein structure and shape, using, you know, lyrics from my favorite rapper to discuss how proteins are actually the building blocks made of amino acids that you could think of as letters in a sentence, and therefore a sentence or a stanza or a poem could be thought of as a protein, and where the beat is really the aqueous solution or the water around it. And so, you know, all of this. And I was in such lonely island as the person at that intersection of hip hop and biochemistry. Most of the people I would talk to would either be like, "Oh, that's interesting. What is that?" Or they'll be like, "This is garbage." Especially if they're coming from the science world, they'll be like, "You are wasting time. This is absolutely garbage. Nobody cares about this. What are you doing? It's just an excuse to be a barb on the internet." is what people would say, until I started finding other science communicators who were doing it in their own way, but there was rhyme and reason where, you know, in what we were doing. So when I found out after inventing Stimulator that there is a man who founded an organization called STEM Music, released a whole EP that describes not only the power and context of course, STEM music as a pedagogy, right, to really teach and learn about STEM in the context of music, but also really individualized each and every single discipline of STEM, science, giving it its moment, technology, which is actually my favorite song on STEM Music, the EP, because of that intro. And you will actually hear some things that on my EP Roy, if you have, let's say, 1 million streams, 500,000 of those are mine. Okay? 500,000 is me
I
just playing
appreciate
that on
you
repeat.
streaming the music.
And then like engineering and math having its own discrete stuff, and then you have STEM music as the theme song. We call it STEM music as the theme song, bringing it all together. And so I actually, at the advent of AI, I actually have made an EP called Steam Rules the World, and
Okay.
working title.
Okay.
And the first song is obviously Science Rules the World, that has been out there. I have like 500 streams so far. Shout out to y'all who are streaming. And please purchase the song on iTunes. But now I'm having my EP, the rest of it, which is Technology Rules the World, Engineering Rules the World, Art Rules the World, Math Rules the World, and Steam Rules the World as the last song. Those songs are finally produced, and now I'm reaching out to human artists to do remixes of them, because I would like for the songs to come out and then the remixes with human beings to actually come out. And so this is where you come in, Roy. It would be such an honor if you were to be on the album. I know with the feelings and whatnot, it will take time.
I know. You know, I've been very honest. I've been very, very honest of like, I'm on this journey.
I love it.
Figure it out. But it, you know, I think it is kind of, it's cool to hear your perspective on getting to do this, like getting to, you know, explore and create something that, you know, has been in your head for, you know, so long.
Yeah, so long, and without the tools to communicate that message for so long. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's within my grasp. And not only is it within my grasp, but like I'm actually good at it. I'm really kind of good at it. Like I love these songs. Like this song, Science Rules the World, has been out since November. I'm not sick of it. I am not sick of it. I am still like, oh, I love this song. And so if there's nobody else in this world who loves this song, I do. But the song I'm gonna play for you today, because we, you know, we're also running out of time. We only had
an hour. I didn't even see the time.
I would much rather spend this time giving you samples of the other 4 songs, and then the last song in particular is the one that I think will vibe with your R&B itch today. Okay, and so being from Zimbabwe, obviously, I'm starting. Science Rules the World is actually an Afrobeats type song, and if you listen to it, it's completely Afrobeats, and a specific kind of Afrobeats from Southern Africa region called Amapiano, and that's the genre that it kind of focuses on. Mwana Steam, the child, is on a journey throughout the album. Starts off as a toddler, so you actually hear like a really toddler voice, and then Technology Rules the World, they're sort of like a teen. Engineering Rules the World is really actually my voice, so they're a little bit like a college person. It's a blend of Mwana Steam and my voice, and that's where we go. And then Art Rules the World, he's grown, but he's fighting with his AI girlfriend. And so there's a human and AI.
You know, I saw an Oprah episode where the guy said that he had the AI girlfriend. Yeah, I didn't heard about this.
Yes, I sampled a little bit of that. And then they're really having a back and forth about what we're talking about.
Yeah,
so the human is talking about where did you get this AI, because I hear you know, you make music now. Where did you get this? You got it from my sweat and tears. And he's really upset. And she's, you know, fighting back because she's the AI. And she's like, well, I mean, you've been training me ever since you started posting on social media. And so it's a conversation, really is a back and forth conversation between a couple. And then the very last song, well, not the very last song, second to last song, Math Rules the World, is an R&B. He is fully grown now. He has his boisterous voice, and he's talking. It's a ballad, a love song about the complicated relationship that people have with math, right? Math rules the world, and yet we can't seem to get it. Most of us have a terrible story about being taught math, and so it's a little bit of a love story. And then the very last song, Steam Rules the World, is really me going around the world and really showing the impact of Steam throughout the world. And so I will give you a snippet of Technology Rules the World, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, and I've put like some visuals with it because I wanted people to understand what
Gayle King was talking to the AI lady, and she said,
"But you can't sing."
No. Who's the good? I'm a listener. Okay, I'm a listener.
Now you locking onto another phone.
Who rules the world?
That's it. That's a little,
Hey!
Remember when
a little snippet. A little snippet. So, all right. That's what we get from technology, and obviously, happy to send you the actual songs as soon as you can actually.
I'll check them out.
So we then go to Engineering Rules World, and my best friend actually opens this one up.
You are a protein designer. So you basically design new proteins.
Protein food like origami, engineering life, that's in the talk. Nobel Prize would make a little clear. Protein design, engineer, from lab and proteins to turbines that spin. Biomedical software systems within. If it moves, heals, flies, computes. Engineering made the crew. Science rules the truth. What rules? Science. Technology rules the speed. What rules? Tech. Engineering's the fool.
Anyway.
You are a
All right. So that's Engineering Rules the World, and then art. So my mom actually opens up this one.
Come on, Mama.
Yes, and this is an excerpt from a podcast that we did about AI in different job markets, and so she actually has a
What are the industries and to what capacity are the industries being affected by AI? In red, you're seeing what is being observed right now, and then in blue is what is potential. So in the next few months to a year, what industries are really going to be basically replaced by AI?
They said for HR, like if you are using AI, where you're going to screen 4,000 applications, for example, manually, you need about 3-4 people for us to take us maybe about a week or 2 weeks or even a month and edit it. But AI can do that within 2 hours. But while that is a class, people were saying now what happened to that human resources that was within? It's going to be eliminated.
They say you make God now. Tell me, who did you learn that from?
From everything you left behind.
I bled on these canvases, paid my dues, start for the vision. Set my blue, now my stars in your days. No consent, no name, no credit check. You really make pain, never felt.
Who rules the world?
That's the one between the AI, the AI
What'd you
girlfriend.
say?
I said that's the one between the guy and the AI girlfriend, the artist and the AI girlfriend.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is so. But man, it's such a hard thing because I just want to be honest with you and your listeners and stuff like
Yes,
I can hear the different, like I can hear it. And I know I'm an artist, so like I said, maybe not everybody has that ear, but I think the artist side of it is just so challenged because you're like, I don't know. You're like, I don't know.
You're also hearing from a so I'm a baby in the art space, right? Sure. I might be a subject matter expert as a scientist,
sure,
but in the AI sense, like I am literally just born. Like I was just born in November in 2020. That was my debut song.
Like, and it's gonna, take time and different things like that. But even like in my professor's music, it's like I can. Yeah. I don't know, and that's what's so crazy about being.
Now imagine with your ear, if you were using Suno. Oh my God! Like because you are literally chasing after perfection using the most perfect tool, right? And you already have an additional tool that you could add. I would be so interested to hear about what you would do with this song. In fact, I would even venture to say, Roy, if you wanted to, right, you could take one of my songs and remix them under a pseudonym. You don't even have to put your real name on it.
I'm not going to confirm that on this.
Play around with.
It is, man. But even just like experiencing what you just played, I think that's what you were you calling it romanticizing, which is a form of looking at it. But I think it's just so interesting of like the whole time, and like you said, you're a baby in the creation process. But even like I would say my professor's probably around the same stage too, and so certainly things can get better. It's just interesting when I don't know. I guess in my mind I'm thinking like even when I was listening to I'm like, oh, we could maybe we wrote it this way. If you wrote it like but that's just how my brain works when it comes to songwriting. Like, ooh, but if you put it or vocally, I don't know, like it didn't feel whatever. Like, but that's just how my brain is working. And then when you're saying like you have this gifting, this tool, and like you're striving for perfection, but you have this thing that like can be perfect, like hitting perfect notes and stuff like that. But I think from a singer,
not even just notes, but
now
you
I'm just talking about singing, the timbre, the thing, like, and I'm sure there's going to be more progress to where a Suno or something can begin to do that.
And I think you want to hear.
We don't want to be perfect, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the
I hear you. I hear the conflict, and I love the conflict that's happening in your brain.
You just have to live in the dissonance. Like, there's a true, to use a musical term, there's a true dissonance there, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I don't think I'm at this point. Like, I'm open in the sense of like maybe I need to. This is me being open, having this conversation, right? Like, this is actually one of the first conversations, and I leaned into it because I'm like, no, you're literally called STEM music. Like, that's your business, and you're in the music industry and you make music. So it's great. And I'm so glad because like I said, I'm learning and hearing a different perspective, and some of the ideas that I have, I think you'd be excited about them.
I am so excited about the potential of you just touching, not even just Suno, but maybe some of these other advanced like Google Music type apps, and even some of the apps that are already embedded in like the instruments that typically musicians use in the studio. Like there's actually like, because Suno is like the ChatGPT of music. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking about large language models that we use in a lab context, or even in just like in an office settings, things that you pay for with enterprise licenses, like those can do amazing things. And in the right hands, in the hands of somebody with an ear like yours, I shudder to think what could be done. But let me play you this song that I think is in your vein, but also symbolizes a growth. Because we started with the child Steam, and then now it's grown. But we also started because Math Rules the World was done second to last on the EP. So I've been experimenting with different tools throughout. As you see, like engineering, I started using some of my. It's not really my voice, but it's like a element of my voice merged with one of Steam. Art Rules the World, I started using an element of a duet, which was very difficult to do, but but I got it to where I wanted to be, almost. And then Math Rules the World really, because I'm not actually an R&B listener, but anyway, let me not give it too much of a provenance. Let me just go ahead and play it, because I'm a little vulnerable, and I had some love in my life, and so I kind of
loving your life. Look, loving your life will make you do some things. It'll make
you shake. And I don't know if I should call it love, but anyway, it's in that space, and so I just have some of those visuals.
You showed up clear, no room for doubt. Every answer figured out. You traced my dreams in rigid lines. Turn my chaos into sound. You don't best.
Okay, that's the sample.
Come on, R&B. Come on, R&B.
A little bit. Okay. And the very, very last song I will play is actually not even published or anything out, because I literally made it on TikTok the other day. I was live on TikTok in a live stream, and because I just have had this thought of closing out the album, because I already had 5 and I thought that was the end, but I just still felt like it wasn't finished, and so I had to put in my last 2 cents. And then there was a new feature actually that came out that I was like, oh, I want to play around with this, my literal voice. And so anyway, let's go. I feel like this is like auto-tune version, and so this might be accosting your music ears. Oh no, Suno, come on. Okay. It will not let me play this. No, it will not let me play the playlist. Wow. After that whole build-up, can you do that?
Man. I do have a question too. Hopefully you can get it to play, but I do have a question regarding the project and the songs and the stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so my curiosity is, okay, so you're making these, you're gonna put them out as an EP or album. What is the hope and the desire of doing this? That is actually something from a perspective of somebody using that. Like, what is the
Yeah. So I say this actually in the reel that I sent you. The first song, Science Was World, is the background of what I'm saying. So what we have been doing with hip hop biochemistry is we essentially created a discipline. First, it has been the idea of explaining proteins and these molecules, these machines that make up this beautiful biology that is throughout our world, but go unnoticed and literally invisible machines, right? That I'm now bringing to the world and bringing sights to them through molecular minutes. I do my little reels where I explain specific protein, why is it important, myoglobin, hemoglobin, the saliva in your mouth, antibodies that fight against diseases. All of these are proteins all the time working for our benefit in humanity, and we should know them almost in the same way we know celebrities. And so that's been one path of hip hop biochemistry. And I use hip hop examples like Beyonce and Nicki Minaj, some of their songs and stuff to really communicate this all the way through. What has now happened in the opposite direction in doing that is that I've created a community of people who are fascinated with these machine molecules, but not only in the natural machine molecules, but they also are fascinated with how I got my PhD and how I make my living as 9 to 5, which is making brand new proteins from scratch. Which again, my advisor won the Nobel Prize in 2024. So it's like, it's something that is not only groundbreaking and like has changed the world, but is also a tool and discipline that is so underrepresented in terms of Black scientists, in terms of women, forget women of color, in terms of Latinos, in terms of gay science. It's so underrepresented. They are billion-dollar companies that have spun out in the last 2-3 years in protein design space. Not a single one led by a Black scientist. Not a single one. Not a single one. And so, when we talk about solutions that are not coming back to our communities because we lack scientists in those communities, this is happening right now. There's a little exemplification of that. Not only is money not coming to our communities because those billion-dollar companies are not coming to our communities, but also the problems that exist in our communities, whether it's the impure water in Flint, Michigan, or whatever problems that are in our specific communities. These are not being addressed by protein designers because there aren't any protein designers that are coming from our communities, right? And so what I'm doing now with my community that I've built over the last 6 years is not only put these tools in their hands, really show them that you could make these proteins, but I've now simplified it. I've now taken it in a step further. While proteins have been made from this idea of biophysical, sampling of energy, and even these large language models, they use evolutionary information to really, craft these proteins. I am using our own cultural narrative. I am using pop culture. I'm using hip hop lyrics and using those as backbones to actually make brand new proteins. So season 5, the students in season 5 took Nicki Minaj lyrics, and I will not stop saying this. They took literal Nicki Minaj lyrics that Barb's tweeted from all over the world. 1,000 Barb's tweeted these. We took this as an initial data set, deconstructed it to unique bars based on Genius. 536 bars were ended up being the selection. And then we actually made an alphabet. Every amino acid, right, linked to a color. And that's how we started making pictures like this of natural proteins, but also linked to, say, a song from Pink Friday 2. That's what we're doing this season. We're identifying that. So they started learning about these 20 naturally occurring amino acids and how they play in protein design. And then those lyrics, those 539 lyrics, they literally take just the lyrics as a backbone of a protein, put it into a structure prediction, that AlphaFold we were talking about, and other variants of it, like the thing that can predict a structure in 30 seconds that used to take a whole PhD.
7 years.
Structures of those 536. And some of them look like proteins. In silico. Some of them look like proteins. And then we took it a step further. We said, okay, this is amino acid abundance that we are relating to natural language processing, right? This is English abundance. So what if we said what letter in the English language is the most abundant, what amino acid in nature is the most abundant, and then made a concordance map, and then took those same lyrics, now mapped them with our same, sort of pattern, and let's see those backbones, predict the structure of those backbones. Even more look like natural proteins. Wow. Then we said, what if we apply the protein design tools that are being used in a drug context, in agricultural companies, in climate change protein design situations? What if we use those tools like Protein MPNN, these large language model-based tools, these protein language model tools, to now design on top of those backbones, both in parallel, both the native backbone as well as the concordance backbone. And let's see what kind of proteins we get. Even more predictions of natural occurring proteins. So then in March, I was unemployed. Okay, I had all the time for Stimulator. I took the best of those proteins that my students had been able to create over this time, and I actually submitted them to a wet lab. So these Nicki Minaj lyrics have actually been tested in a Boston lab, and then independent, because I didn't believe the results, independently in a Switzerland lab. They've also been tested. And not only do at least 4 of them out of 25 express and behave just like a natural protein, that was the positive control, green fluorescence protein, which also won its own Nobel Prize a long time ago. But 15 of them actually are in the same stability rank. And so they are as thermostable as GFP. And so out of that large set, we have a set of proteins that actually not only look like proteins on the computer, but they behave like proteins in the expression culture. When purified, they measure up to known proteins, right? And then some have distinct properties that actually could be useful for drugs because they are super thermostable, which means they won't likely break down in the Sahara Desert or in really hot climates where often there's no electricity for refrigeration. All these different things that could be actually useful. Yeah. And so now we have novel proteins made from the culture have now been part of a culture. Bars. Okay. And so what I'm trying to do now with the music, because actually science rules the world, and as you've been listening to all of these songs that you've listened to in this past minute, each one of those is a molecule.
Okay.
So you are listening to a de novo designed molecule that's been created from scratch. That's the Stimulator EP. Like that's what we're talking about here. Yes, we're filing patents and all this kind of stuff for all these molecules, including Nikki's molecules. So shout out, Nikki, if you're listening. We need you to participate in the patent history.
Lord.
Answer my goddamn DMs, okay?
No comment.
No, because even though, yes, she's controversial, particularly in the last few months, that controversy.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Look, God is great.
That controversy is going to benefit science as overall. It's going to benefit education.
I think what you're explaining, though, this is such a fascinating conversation because I really am both. Because I see, just like with my professor, I recognize the excitement of actually being able to incorporate science and technology. I mean, well, you're using technology, but science, technology, engineering, and math, with this technology inside of it, and like not
in
just
art form,
not just talking about it in the art form, but like it's embedded in the art form,
participating in the art form.
Yeah, so I think, man, that's from my science brain. That's like so cool and so amazing, and I think the idea that I have in my head, I'm like, yeah, that kind of is along the lines of that idea that I'm ruminating right now. But so like from a science lens, it is like the coolest thing. But I think so from the artist side, it's like the music is not necessarily the forefront thing. It's being the vehicle, to communicate this amazing science, to educate and to be the science, like to be the actual science, which, by the way, science is already in music, and math is already in music with beats per measure and all that stuff, right? Like it already exists in notes and how many beats per measure and all that stuff. But a lot of the creative side of it, or like artist creative, because you're being creative in what you're doing. Right? You're a creative because you're being creative in what you're doing. Is focusing on the talent aspect of it. That a lot of times comes from a natural place, is developed and built on, and then they're spending their lives doing it. So I think I'm a both. I really am a both, because I can see the power and fascination of. It's almost like it's what it's, and I still probably don't have a perfect analogy for it. I think there's plenty of examples that we've talked about, but like it's just making me think of sports too. Like it's making me think of, like, track and field is my favorite sport, and it makes me think about doping. He's a
runner, y'all. He's a runner. He's a track star.
He's a runner. He's a track star. I did run 6 miles on Saturday and fell twice. First time ever falling running. What I don't recommend is talking while running, which I never do. I'm always running by myself, and someone decided to run with me and was talking. And it was super early in the morning, so it was dark, which I don't run at that time. But somebody was like, "You should come to this run club." They didn't even show up to the run club. But I was out there and fell twice, tuck and roll. So, but anyway, got my 6 miles in 55 minutes, by the way.
Oh, so congratulations. Okay.
Thank you. But track and field, there is, doping and stuff like that has been around forever, and you get tested and all the stuff, right? So you got to be clean, meaning you don't have any of those drugs that are banned or whatever in your system. Well, there's like a track games now where you can dope. Like there's a dope scare. So it just makes me think about that type of thing too, of like, the people who are on that side of it, they're like excited because they're like, how fast can the human body actually go? You know what I mean? Like, and that's the science part, right? That's like, whoa, like how fast could the human body go if there is something being added to it, if there is something that's pumping it up. And then you have the people, who are on the traditional track side of like, no, we want to see how fast the human body can go based on the human body just as it is, and the training and all the stuff. Even though technology has been implemented to help post running, where you get the stretches and the massage and the things you put on your legs, those compression boots, things that. So I think it's happening in all places, and so I just think I reside in the middle, where I'm like, I see this opportunity. Like I think about my professor. Like it is very cool to think that my professor could just go and create songs that will help communicate his ideas to allow students to receive topics and information better. And then the artist side is like, but no, we want real artists, who are traditional artists, I guess. Instead of saying, because real, I know you're like, but a real human could be input to the AI, but like a traditional artist is somebody who's spending the time. So I really see both sides, and I think it's going to be very interesting to move forward. I guess my other question is, with these songs, okay, so we know the message behind like why, or the reason behind why, and that science is in the song. Like actually my producer on one of my good friend Justin, who you showed playing piano.
Shout out to Justin.
On the interlude, he did something in there with the music like that he played, but there was something in there that was like a time stamp or something that was significant that he did, and he was telling me like it's an Easter egg in the thing, which reminds me of like how the proteins are like inside of the music. So you want people to listen to these songs, and then maybe students begin to create their own proteins and stuff within songs. Do you want these songs to be performed? Do you want these songs to like? That's the other part that I'm curious about. It's like, are they living? Are the songs living like on a streaming platform and people listening to them, and that's where their life ends?
And there are two ways I want to answer this question.
Okay.
First of all, the plan for the EP, of course, is this de novo proteins, right? And it really is, in a science context, it's a proof of concept. What I'm giving to the world is a proof of concept of a larger idea that I have, right? That not only could you start listening to actual proteins that have been made, and then these proteins that have been made using hip hop lyrics and using hip hop culture, and so there is a vehicle and the potential for this discipline, hip hop biochemistry, to be established, right? And so the hip hop hypothesis of hip hop biochemistry and this EP in particular is really that can natural language can that influence protein folding? And so
Okay.
that is the like the scientific
Yeah.
hypothesis. We know protein folding through evolutionary mechanisms. We know it through biophysical mechanisms. But what about natural language? Can that also describe protein folding? So that's the science element. For me, in the music context, it's really more on the business side, and this is not even the second part of the answer. This is just part of the same first answer.
Okay.
The music side is really about now, artists have been talking about how their music is becoming more and more valueless over the years, right? Whether it's through streaming, no longer purchasing CDs, physical copies, and so that now is like cents on the dollar, so this thing that you spent years and years crafting, and then this baby that you deliver is sometimes not worth it, just because of the actual value of
From a financial standpoint, yeah.
from the financial standpoint. From the financial standpoint. And that's why artists now have to supplement with doing, more than one tour and all this kind of stuff. And then even just the music business is so ugly to even enter because there's shocks of 360 deals and all this kind of stuff. It's just nasty, nasty, nasty. And then even if you want to go to like Billboard charts, people now start doing bundles of merch and all this kind, just to see if you can break even on the music. A lot of people say music is less of a career and more of a hobby until you get your break. It's a hobby and it's an expensive hobby because you're pouring money into it. And so people are just trying to break in to do this thing that really started off, and I circle back to this point, which is it is a communication mechanism. It's a way to bring for human beings to exchange messages that are undescribable by words alone, right? You have to, have embed emotion and feelings in it, and then the instrumentals allow you to really understand what the perspective of the other person is saying. And it's such a shame that it's now been marred with all this ugliness and this just garbage that now is making it even harder for that message to come across. Even for the most talented of us, it's even harder for them to bring their message across because they're sharks. What if now Hip Hop Biochemistry is bringing you a new vehicle for artists, right? Now your lyrics live on beyond just the music that you're listening to on the black vinyl or in the digital ones and zeros of streaming, but now it's hard coded in biological material, in the ATGC of DNA that we all know as biologists, is forever. It never dies. It's literally the most immortalized version you can have. And then take it a step further, because I'm not focusing on DNA, I'm focusing on proteins. Right? So what if your proteins now become licensed to actually cure diseases, to be part of food, to be part of clothes? You could wear the lyrics of your songs. Like your favorite, whatever thing that you could wear. I'm planning to wear some of the songs on this evening.
Okay.
Take on a life of its own. Second part, which is, where do we go from here? Is there, where does the music live from here? Right? Not only will it live in this capsule forms of this DNA and proteins that could potentially be in burgers and all this kind of stuff, but yes, I do want to perform. That's why I'm reaching out to human artists, right? I'm reaching out to folks like you because
I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's one I'm reaching out to because I want to not only infuse this with the collaboration spirit of human and AI, which is the way I see this problem being solved is, bring back to your point of integration, is there should be an integration. And it really goes to a larger point that I was thinking about as you were saying, when you listen to this, you just can't help but hear the lack of the talent, the lack of the human thing, that's the spark or whatever. And I'm just like, to the point of, I'm a baby, but also like all of us are babies. The people who are playing with Suno, all of them are babies, because the real artists, y'all don't want to play with the tech. If you were actually there playing with the tech, maybe it would be better. Maybe you could elevate it to something magical. That collaboration spirit could be something even more beautiful. And then I do want to identify artists, particularly who are on that cusp of a breakout. Like those are the ones that I've reached out to, right? Because now imagine you singing, because I would love, for you to either have a verse, whatever that you would do with this. I'll just give it to you, and you would do whatever you want. I'd love whatever you embed on it. I would love to then take that into the lab. And so now, in the future, when you perform it, now you're not just listening on vinyl, on digital waves to a protein. You're performing a protein. And this lives on after it's licensed, on not just on billboards, in papers, because obviously we're writing journal papers about this, in the lab, in a whole different formats, right? And the music lives on in many different ways. The last thing I'll say is this is all from a de novo standpoint. My future albums, if I have any, answer the question of what do natural proteins have to say to us? And that is, the TBT. So it's the reverse.
Okay. No, I think I'm definitely excited for you in the sense of exploration.
This is the kindest rejection I've ever had in my life.
So excited for you. No, I think it's definitely going to take me some time to here's why I think we could start though. I think we could I'd have to get it in writing though, because I know you'll be like, nope, I got what I needed. I'm gone. Let me go do the thing. I can already see it. But if
I would give it to you and you do whatever you want.
Like if I was
I would be gone.
If I was to create a song that then you do that encoding, decoding that you were talking about when you took the Barb lyrics, like that it was a song created by myself and with producers in Wichita or whatever, and then it's given to you to then do that process that you talked about. I think that's something I'm open to first.
We could. That's actually hip hop, because that's called a swap, right? Because we could swap. Like you could do a remix of my song, right? In the same beat, you do generate your own song, and all I do is just create the proteins in your song and then give it to you back. And so I'm not really, putting AI on it or anything of the sort, right? Like the AI is really the protein design.
I do like the idea of the science in the song, like and I'm not no PhD in this, specifically in this area. So I'm like, we were talking about lab.
You're a whole engineer. What are we talking about? You're a whole engineer.
Aerospace. I got you. I'm with you. But this is a different area of STEM. But I think that sounds like such a cool process of being able for it to breathe and live in a different life.
Very open to that.
What it is. So I think, that's a step, right? That's a step towards progress of okay, he didn't do an AI song, but he provided a song that, was a part of this process of using, denoting proteins or, figuring out the proteins that may coincide with what was created.
I would love it. I could do that right now with one of your songs on the album. I could do that right now.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that's a good start of okay, let's see.
The thing is, though, that there's nothing added to the actual song, though.
Right. I think I definitely feel like just because this is live and this is recorded. I want people.
Oh, that's why. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we don't want to put you in the corner. We definitely don't want.
I don't feel like it though. I'm very clear where I am in the sense that I'm open, and I think the open part is to having conversations, learning more about it. Maybe even going on a Suno, especially when my professor sent that. It was a month ago or 3 weeks ago. Of okay, what is this whole thing? Or watching a YouTube video that talks about the different parts and processes that what people are doing when they're using it to learn about it, right? Because I don't know that there's harm in just learning about it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the artist side is still winning at this point in the sense of it's a hard thing because it is so emotional, right? Like it is. If it was like we were talking about earlier on the science side of things, that can still be emotional because scientists do put in time, put in work. The hours of studying and stuff like that. But I think the direct result, and this could be a misplaced perspective on it, but when you were talking about, but no, Roy, the music, I also think is there to benefit humanity, right? Which I agree, music does that. I think on the science side, it seems so much more dire. It seems songs have saved people's lives, right? Like there's stories for years where people are like, I was thinking about taking myself, and then I listened to this song, or I went to this concert and I heard this music, and it really allowed me to take a next step or to whatever. So, I mean, we do have these examples. I think it's easier for people, maybe not everyone, but for a lot of people to look at the science side and see like, this benefit to humanity is like, oh my gosh, like it's, you know what I mean? Which by the way goes back to like funding for both, which is why science is getting all this funding just in general over the years, and art is like, do we really need that? So I get it. I'm looking at it from all perspectives and angles of like what we are, coming up to with both of these. So
it's really on that funding piece. I think it's been a travesty because I think it's really thought of as mutually exclusive, that science is benefiting the world, right? And art is like inspiring the world. When yet, if you really think about it together, scientists listen to music, they observe art, they ingest it, that inspires them to go back into their science and heal the world. And so without one or the other, like we can't do the other thing, right? And then artists are, benefiting from the medicines and whatnot that are being made in science, right? So it's all intertwined. I wish there was a way to get away from the competitive mindset, the replacement word, and really think of it as a collaboration thing. But I think this is a longer conversation that obviously is going to continue going on, you guys. Yeah. And please continue the conversation in the comments.
Yes. I want to know what you think. Yeah, and if there's other artists who see this, like chime in. Like if there's other scientists, I know there's other people. I meet people all the time in the world who, I'm an engineer who plays violin. I'm, someone who I see it all the time. So yeah, if we have other people, I'd love to see like more discourse and like what that dialogue is for different people's perspectives.
I would too. Definitely some hashtag discourse. Follow Roy Moore. Right? And you put the Nelson in there today for us, okay? For our viewing audience.
Because I logged in with, that's funny. I logged in with Facebook, and Facebook has my whole name. That's hilarious. I'm like, yeah. When it was on there, I was like, wow, it says Nelson in there. Yeah. I love my middle name. So I always said, like, if I made a country album, like if I went country, this was long before Beyonce and took it to another level. I always used to say my country name would be Roy Nelson because of Willie Nelson. Like, that sounds so country. Roy is like a country name. Like, so.
No, I love the name Roy. And now it's, synonymous with taking flight. Okay, you guys, again, please. Get STEM Music Takes Flight,
this baby,
on all platforms. Stream it, purchase it on iTunes, post on IG stories when you have your purchased. Okay, let us know that you're listening to this. Put it in your stories, make reels. If you're tuning in on Twitch, make a clip right now and make sure
learn about aerospace and aviation. Like if you fly, like if you travel, go see your grandparents, your family, or if you travel for work, like when you listen to this album, I think that's the other thing. Like it was made for children and to get them excited about flight aviation. But when adults listen to the music in shows or they just happen to come across a song, it's like, oh my gosh, I know the four main forces of flight now: lift, weight, thrust, and drag. So I know what's kind of happening now. So I don't feel as nervous to fly.
That is clever.
A plane can go faster, if it's designed in this way, or it goes slower. How do I remember which is fast or slow? Oh, there's some claps at the end of the song. Oh, this is the super subsonic clap. This is the supersonic clap. Like, there's just different things on the album that 3 control surfaces: aileron, rudder, elevator. They control the movement of the airplane. Now, when I'm flying, I can look out the window and see an aileron on one side of the wing, and when we're turning and I see it moving, oh, that's the connection. So there's practical things on the album that actually could help people as they're flying. Even the song with my niece, Taking Flight, it has a breathing exercise in it because we talk about turbulence, and so we take a couple breaths. If we breathe in 4 counts, we breathe out 4 counts, and so it's just.
And her voice is just so nice to hear. Honestly, I don't know. It's not just like a child innocence thing. It's also like, is she musically inclined? Like it seems like.
That baby, if she's gonna be a singer, she's gonna be a singer. If she wanted to pursue it, of course, she's 7. So just taking our time and stuff. But yeah, she has the talent. not only the she can sing, because her mom, my sister, sings as well, like, and got a state, you know, a 1 at state, which is the highest ranking in high school. Like, my sister sings too, so she has it, honestly, but she also has the performer personality. Oh my gosh, she'll be making up songs. It's sometimes it's so hard for me because I'm like, just chill, Roy, just chill. But like, she'd be making up songs on the fly, just off the top of her head. She's like, watch me. I'm gonna show you my whole performance that we did in my assembly. And then she's like, just do it. And she just, she's got it, honestly. So it's so fun. I hope that we get to make more songs together. Because I want her to, because on that song, she's doing most of the talking and she does a little bit of singing at the end. And that was just because of the time that we had together. You know, kids, they be after a certain time, they're like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna, you know, and I'm not gonna force them to. They don't want to do it. But I'm like, now that she's even just a year older, she's doing a lot more singing and wanting to do it more often. So I'm like, yeah, we might be able to do some more collabs moving forward. Or shoot, I'm like, even in my mind, I'm like, if she wanted to make her own album, I'm so down to produce that. Like, I'm so down to produce a solo album by Zari. Like, that would be so cool.
I love that. I love that idea too. Oh my God, you as a producer, okay? For children music. I love that. And shout out to the Hip Hop Congress Incorporated. Thank you for stopping through the Instagram Live. Shout out to that comment that you have on there. Thank you so much. I appreciate the folks who are tuning in, watching. Amaze Scientists. Some of y'all are watching for the Stimulator Games. Congratulations. Those of you who won already today, we have been giving away 100 points, which is equal to 100 Stimulator coins.
Come on, coins.
$1 is equal to 1 coin. So some people have been winning quite a bit of money. Okay, honey. And the season continues all the way until Labor Day. We are smack dab into episode 9. I believe 9 that's coming out tomorrow. So stay tuned. Keep playing. Shout out to those who tuned into the live. If you're on Twitch, take clips of me and Roy right now and post it on Instagram, okay? And make sure to put the song from Steam Music Takes Flight as your undertone, as your soundtrack, okay? So that we know you watched all the way to the end of this. And make sure that's on the reel or on the TikTok. You get points for each one, okay? So enjoy yourself. Make sure to take those clips. Shout out to those people watching on Kick. Shout out to those people watching on Instagram. Okay, CJ, shout out to you. And of course, thank you those who watch on the recap. We really appreciate you. Thank you to my guest, Roy Moy III. Shout out to you. Congratulations on this amazing run that you have been on, whether it's tours, album out, but also just congratulations on living your dreams. Like, this it is amazing to see and it's inspiring. Before we sign out, Roy, is there anything you want to say to the fans or say to anybody who's watching? Yeah.
Yes, just stay engaged, y'all. You know, the doc is doing his thing. So you just stay engaged. The Stimulator crew, Dr. Mook, like, you just got to stay engaged, stay in the conversation, keep tuning in. And then I just think on all the things for me with STEM Music, you can find out all information on thestimmusic.com. And we actually did a FYC for your consideration page. So if you want to know more about the album and stuff, there's a song commentary, all these different things. It's STEM Music Takes Flight is the tab at the top of the website. And you can literally go down and see pictures and all kinds of stuff. Fall tour is starting in September. So I may be in an area near you. If you're in DC or Chicago or Kansas City, Maine, I'm going back to Maine this year. I was there in 2022. So I'm excited to go back there. So yeah, got a lot of stuff coming up, and just excited, man. Just excited to be living life. And I thank you all for tuning in. And Amazing Scientist said already done. Yes, already. Okay, we
okay.
Thank you. We appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. And the last thing I will say is it's kind of like what you're doing, but it's like, do what you can with what you have right where you're at. Do what you can with what you have right where you're at, because whatever your dream is, or whatever project or whatever idea that you have, and you're like, well, I don't have access, I don't have all these things, right? There's so many things at our disposal, and so many beginner steps that you can take. Like he was saying, being a baby on Suno, like there's so many baby steps that you can take to where you want to go. So you just have to, instead of looking at the big thing and be like, I can't do it, just do what you can with what you have right where you're at. And that, I believe, that and God is the reason why I'm living in my dreams right now. So Yeah. Y'all have
All
a
right.
great day wherever you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, just enjoy and smile a little bit. That's all I would say. Just smile. Find time to smile.
I love that. Your positivity is infectious. Thank you for not only teaching the kids, but also teaching us grown folks to take a bite out of life and enjoy. All right, to sign off, I'm going to play a little bit of my last song, particularly the very end, which is also my sign off. Wherever we go, Steve rules the world, and I will not see you later. I will see you later. Alright, you guys. I will see you later. I will steam you later.